Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, and it is Wednesday, the 29th at 8:30 a.m. EST. Yep. And today is FOMC day. Okay, so this is going to be a big day, although the morning trading might be a little bit slow, right? So we have big news events such as the FOMC. And when those happen, there's a decent chance that the markets are going to just slow down before those happen. And the reason that is because of uncertainty. Whenever there is a lack of certainty, there tends to be people on the sidelines. And so, when that happens, when they're on the sidelines, the money's not in the market. When money's not in the market, there's no money velocity, there's no volatility, and things just go really slowly, right? So that being the case, we might just kind of see not much go on. So let's take a look really quick here at the NASDAQ, just rocketing to all-time highs. I mean, this is, massive. We got a gap up on the futures open. So we're looking at in Q1, the futures, it's the E-mini. And understand here that when you have a gap up like this, it's pretty common for price to eventually make its way back down to fill this gap. Now, today's FOMC, there is expected to be a 0.25% cut in the prime rate. So that's 25 basis points, right? And it's, I think, been priced in. I think that's why we're seeing this head up. And also Mag 7 earnings are coming out today. So a lot of stocks are expected to get, good earnings data. We did see Amazon just fire or is in the process, in the process of laying off about 300,000 corporate type people, right? Those are jobs where people just kind of do things and type things into computers and whatnot. And AI has probably taken a ton of those jobs. And that's going to be a trend. It already is a trend going into the future. So understand that we might see that actually manifest as a positive thing for Amazon. But before we look at Amazon, and we'll look at probably Bitcoin before we go on to the private live lab. And if you do, if any of the people watching do have requests, feel free to put that in the comment section. We'll take a look at whatever stock or, crypto or whatever it is you like. But in the meantime, this move up is like massive. Since the Sunday open, you guys, this move up is huge. If you chart this move up going back to last Thursday on the NASDAQ, let's see what we're looking at here. That's like 6%. I mean, the NASDAQ, SP 500, Dow, these are where people's retirements are, right? And you're looking at a 6% move up here. If I go to the NASDAQ, if I go to SP 500 and Dow, we'll come back to the NASDAQ. I just want to measure these moves up. So SP 500, 4%, right? We got let's see, is this Thursday? Yeah. So the Dow up 3%. I mean, these are humongous moves for such big markets, right? For such big indices. So understand that right now people are happy. Their retirements look good. Their number go up. And a lot of this is to do, we think, with inflation. A lot of money coming into the U.S., people buying into American markets because they're just tend to be the safest over time. When the rest of the world is afraid that they're going to go to war or what have you, when Europe is concerned about their own economy, some people think the European Union might have numbered days. And that being the case, a lot of money is going to go to American markets because American markets are just considered to be more secure, right? So that said, if we get any surprise news today, right, whether it be we don't get an interest rate hike or cut or whatever the case it may be, price could come down and grab this gap, that gap up on Sunday. Gaps tend to get filled. That's just how it is. Especially CME gaps like this, they tend to get filled. Like if we look at the last gap, that got filled immediately. This was back in September, and it was about a similar sized gap, right? Very similar sized gap, and a bigger gap in September, but similar sized. And within like a day, it dumped back down and filled it. Now, it didn't happen That way, I guess similar time frame. It did take a couple of days to fill. So we are in that same sort of time frame where it did fill last time. So we could see this come back down. It could be based on a lot of things, though. It might be that somehow the Mag 7 data comes back not that great. Like, oh, wow, okay, earnings don't look that good, right? And it could be a million things. It could be Trump says, oh, no more deal with China. China's not going to make a deal. And then, the market falls. Or there are a lot of reasons why that can happen. And it could look exactly like what we saw back on the 10th of October, right? It could look something like that. And that's just the way it is. That's how we are. That's the geopolitical and geoeconomic climate in which we trade at this point. And it's great for volatility. So you might lose a trade and then you get to win a bunch of trades after that because the market continues to move. So that's the NASDAQ. And at this time, I don't have much to say about where it's going to go. Or we're at all-time highs. We're in uncharted territory. If I wanted to do a simple look by using a Fibonacci tool, then I could have an upside target at 26,790. That's about all I can sort of give when it comes to where might it go if it continues up. Feed the Gorilla, how you doing, sir?
Heidi ho, Heidi hi.
Howdy ho. So yeah, I'd say 27,000 seems about right. So with that being the case, we're just looking at the NASDAQ V, massive gap up. Surprise news could take it down to about 25,000 where the gap began, 25 and a half. But I think the odds of a rate cut today, 25 basis points, are in the high 90 some odd percentile. I think it's going to be business as usual in that sense, right? So that being the case, let's take a brief look at, let's look at Bitcoin. NV, do you have anything, we're in the public show yet still. We have another few minutes here to talk about, what's going on for everybody else to see. And then we go to the private live lab. So do you have anything that you want to share with the broader audience out there, our massive audience of not very many people right now because X is down for us?
No, I currently do not.
You do not. You don't want to share your favorites.
I don't want to share.
Hold it to your. Well, I know you had some sort of drips coming at some point soon.
They're coming. I'm still gathering the data points as we speak.
It sounds like it's a health problem. We got drips coming soon, but no.
Yes. I've had different types of drips from many offices.
Oh my lord!
Yes.
I hope it's the Office of the Interior.
It is the Office of the Interior.
I said the offices of the Prime Minister.
Yes.
Or some such, yeah, I don't know.
It's something of the sort, chap.
Oh, right. Righto. I'll tell you what V's talking about, where we're joking around about are drips, or what we call when the data comes through. And, sometimes the data takes a while to come, or hey, you get some good data from, let's back up a little bit. V the Gorilla moves in some pretty high level circles. And we have intelligence that comes from those circles, right? When you're, say, doing a 10-figure or whatever, 9-figure, whatever the number may be, precious metals deal, over in Austria or something, you tend to know people. So, we get some intel here and there. And it's really been, it's been tricky lately. The market's been really hard to understand. And so whatever intel drips we could get, we really like those. We have some apparently coming soon. That's what that's about. Algo Factory, does that on the inside. So looking at Bitcoin here, look, I'm going to zoom out and let me see, that's the 3 hours. So I'm going to look at the daily chart so you guys can see kind of the broader view. Bitcoin still in a range that it's been in going back to July. Now everybody freaked out and thought it was going to be game over. And the move up here, though, since this reddish box down here, right, this double bottom, we had a double bottom, and then the double bottom had what I needed to see to expect price to move up from there. And then once price started to move up, the high time frame metrics started to budge a little bit towards okay, maybe the bull market is not over, right? But the double bottom and the price action there is really what the first clue that, okay, Bitcoin might be ready to head up. So that being the case, is it going to head up to all-time highs? That's like another question, right? That is not guaranteed. We may have seen the high, the bull market may be over, but if someone were to just say, is the bull market over or not? I would say probably not. That's what I would say. I could be wrong. I do think that at this stage in the bull market, as long as the 4-year cycle holds, then the downside risk is greater than the upside risk. Meaning, like, I think that buying Bitcoin right now at $113,000, is probably a bit risky. Now, I think the all-time high is going to be between where we've seen it, which is the 126,500 and maybe 145,000. It could go all the way up to 160. And I mean, those are my ranges. Like, so this green box that you see, that's my all-time high, sort of like, okay, it's going to end in this area. Now, it doesn't mean I'm right. And we have a lot of new things happening with Bitcoin with the, we got BlackRock and everybody in it now. So that really actually could just be like, okay, we're in a whole new paradigm and the 4-year cycle doesn't matter. And then it goes up to $250,000, which is quite possible, right? That's possible. It could go to $1 million. Like, I'm not saying it's absolutely over, but I'm saying that in trading in markets, to say this time might be different, those are generally famous last words, right? And until the 4-year cycle no longer holds, then I'm going to treat it as if it holds. And that tells me that we'll probably have a run up into December and maybe January, and the bull market will end somewhere in this green box. That's the most likely scenario, right? Now, I could be wrong. And if I am wrong, it means that either the 4-year cycle is holding, but Bitcoin went way higher than I thought, or it means that the 4-year cycle is no longer the case. And I mean, the evidence doesn't point towards that yet. So I just have to go with what evidence I do have. Now, the gorilla actually is a lot more connected to people in the market, and a lot more, well, I shouldn't say that. The gorilla is a lot more connected to people who spend lots of money on Bitcoin, like lots and lots and lots of money. Those people can have some pretty good intel. And I think we might have to save this for the private chat, but that might be the intel that you're gathering. I'm guessing, V, is it along those lines?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So we're going to save that for the private live lab. If you want to know what that is, go get your free algo. Link is in the description. And if you get that algo, we'll send you some updates through your email as to like what we're doing with Algo Factory, so on and so forth. And it's going to give you a chance to come in and find us. If you want to get that kind of intel, that's where you get it in the private live lab, which is actually starting right now. The gorilla, can you please get us out of here, sir?
Yeah, guys, listen, don't just learn how to trade, but learn to see the entire tree, the forest, the region, the country, the planet as a whole, and see how that affects you in terms of all the geopolitical, geostrategic, and geoeconomic effects that affects local markets. This way, you know what's coming before it happens. You learn to profit from the chaos, and you learn to trade like a hedge fund pro. AlgoFactory.tech. Join us, bitches.
Join us or die.
That was good. You're not going to die. We love you.